In Jupiter there are Earth-sized storms, and in Earth there are Jupiter-sized lies, Mehmet Murat Ilda. Hello dear friends. In today's video, we would like to tell you about the largest planet in the solar system, Jupiter. If you haven't watched our previous videos about neighboring planets, you can do so by clicking the link in the top right corner. In today's video, you will learn the most important facts that humanity knows about Jupiter. So get comfortable and let's get started. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system, located on the fifth orbit from the Sun. It falls into the category of gas giants, and it fully lives up to this classification. The planet's dimensions are second only to the Sun. Its equatorial radius is 11 times greater than Earth's radius. Its mass is more than twice the combined mass of all the planets in the solar system and 318 times that of Earth. It takes Jupiter nearly 12 years to complete one orbit around the Sun at a speed of around 13 kilometers per second. However, it rotates on its axis much faster than Earth, with a day lasting approximately 10 hours. Jupiter is truly a jewel in our solar system. On a dark night, it rises in the east as the brightest pearl, adding a special charm to the starry sky. In terms of brightness, it is second only to Venus. Even in ancient times, the planet's bright eye fascinated and amazed people. Jupiter was named after the ancient Roman god of the sky, daylight and thunder, corresponding to Zeus in ancient Greek mythology. Back then, people had no idea how perfectly the name matched the planet's characteristics. The atmosphere of Jupiter is fundamentally different from Earth's. It consists of 89% hydrogen and 11% helium, with small traces of methane, ammonia, acetylene, and water vapor. When observing the planet through the lenses of a telescope, you can see that its atmosphere features a combination of parallel bands of different colors, including red, white, yellow, and blue. The dark belts and light zones represent colorful clouds in the upper atmospheric layers. Here's an interesting fact. Scientists have calculated that diamond hail is possible on Jupiter. Lightning converts methane into carbon, which then falls and, under pressure, transforms into graphite. Descending even further, the graphite turns into diamonds, although at the very end of the fall, these diamonds most likely become liquid. One distinctive feature of Jupiter is the presence of spots. These are identified as massive vortices that can last for weeks, months, or even years. The most famous of these is the Great Red Spot, which was first observed in 1664 by the French astronomer Cassini. Over the centuries, it has hardly moved and has changed very little in terms of shape and size. The characteristics of the Great Red Spot are impressive, 12,000 by 48,000 kilometers in size. Some believe it's a massive storm or a gigantic cloud. There is also a hypothesis that the spot is the result of a collision between the planet and a large object. Since Jupiter is a gas giant, it doesn't have solid surface as we understand it. It likely has a very dense core at its center, compressed under enormous pressures ranging from 30 to 100 million atmospheres. The core's temperature is also astonishing, approximately 30,000 degrees Celsius. At a depth of around 500 kilometers, there is an ocean of liquid hydrogen, and below 17,000 kilometers, hydrogen is compressed to the point where it behaves like a metal. This state allows hydrogen to conduct electricity, creating a magnetic field around the planet. The size of this magnetic field is enormous, stretching up to 650 million kilometers and even slightly encroaching into Saturn's orbit. However, in the direction of the Sun, the magnetic field is only a few million kilometers in size. If it weren't for Jupiter, you might not be watching this video right now. For billions of years, Jupiter, with its gigantic gravitational field, has been capturing or diverting comets and asteroids that are headed towards the Sun. For instance, in 1994, this planetary defender shielded us from a potential threat. Jupiter's gravity shattered comet Shoemaker-Levy like a hammer smashing a fragile stone. The explosions from the impacts of the largest fragments exceeded the power of a 100 megaton hydrogen bomb by a factor of 10,000. However, these events occurred on the night side of the planet and were not visible. Similar to Saturn and Uranus, Jupiter has rings. However, its ring system is relatively weak and not widely known. It primarily consists of dust and gas and comprises 4 components: a thick torus of fine particles, a bright and very thin main ring, and 2 broader gossamer rings. The color of the rings in the visible spectrum appears reddish, while the first one has a bluish hue. As of February 2023, there are 95 known moons of Jupiter. The most famous are the so-called Galilean moons, first discovered by the scientist in 1610. These moons are Ganymede, Callisto, Europa, and Io. Ganymede, in terms of size, exceeds Mercury, while Callisto, almost equal in size, has a dark surface dotted with craters. Europa is covered by an icy shell about 30 kilometers thick, and beneath this shell, scientists speculate there might be a liquid ocean. If you're interested in learning more about Europa, please let us know in the comments. The most picturesque of Jupiter's moons is Io. It displays shades of yellow, black, and red due to its active volcanic activity, which spews sulfur fountains up to 200 kilometers above its surface. Theoretical models suggest that if Jupiter's mass were larger than its actual mass, it would lead to compression of the planet. Small changes in mass wouldn't result in significant changes in radius. However, if Jupiter's mass exceeded its current mass by a factor of 4, the planet's density would increase to the point where, under the influence of increased gravity, the planet's size would significantly decrease. Therefore, it appears that Jupiter has the maximum diameter a planet with its structure and history can have. With further mass increase, the planet would continue to compress until it became a brown dwarf star with a mass about 50 times its current. Since 1973, 9 space missions have visited Jupiter. The first spacecraft to study Jupiter was Pioneer 10, which provided hundreds of photographs of the planet. In 1974, Pioneer 11 approached Jupiter 3 times closer than its predecessor. In 1979, the famous Voyage spacecraft discovered Jupiter's ring system and took numerous photos of the planet's clouds and storms. Thanks to these images, scientists realized that the mysterious Great Red Spot is a giant storm. Furthermore, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 discovered dozens of volcanoes on Jupiter's moon Io, marking the first active volcanoes found on another celestial body. The Galileo spacecraft was the first to enter Jupiter's orbit in 1995. During the Galileo mission, Jupiter's atmosphere, magnetic field, and its moons were extensively studied. A few years later, in 2000, the Cassini spacecraft on its way to Saturn captured some of the best images of Jupiter. The second scientific probe to enter Jupiter's orbit was Juno, which arrived in 2016 and will continue to study the planet until September 2025, or until the spacecraft becomes inoperable. We are only at the beginning of our journey in studying this giant planet, and yet we have already learned a lot of interesting and valuable information. Who knows what lies ahead in our exploration of Jupiter? Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on new and exciting videos about space and the universe. Feel free to leave comments about what you'd like to see in the next video. Thank you, and see you next time.